Destiny 2 Renegade launches next week at a time where things haven't been looking too good for Destiny 2. Whether it's the long-term health of the franchise, sentiment around the current state of it, or the play count levels. Despite being impressed by Edge of Fate's narrative, I was underwhelmed by the expansion as a whole, from abilities to activities to Kepler. Let's talk about what Renegades is going to do in terms of the play count levels, in terms of will it save Destiny 2? No. Renegades on its own is not going to save Destiny 2. It's not going to revitalize the franchise. But am I allowed to say, I am ridiculously excited for this one? I say that as someone who was like, I don't know, man. I was excited and shocked when it was first announced that Renegades was a Star Wars inspired expansion. But as someone who has grown a little tired recently of collaboration culture across video games, I like games to remain true to their identity. A week away now though, I will say I've come around to it. I mean, I say that as someone that loves Star Wars and loves Destiny, and they're two of my favourite sci-fi franchises, as a whole, so to get a Star Wars inspired expansion in Destiny, I am excited. I also speak on it a little selfishly as a Star Wars fan. Star Wars games have been really bleak in terms of offering over the last 2 decades. I mean, we've had the Jedi games, Battlefront, but if I'm being honest, Renegades will probably be the only Star Wars first-person shooter we get in the next 5 years, maybe? I don't really know what's going on with Star Wars games. The Jedi games have been incredible from Respawn. They cancelled a Respawn Mandalorian game. Who knows what's going on with KOTOR and Star Wars Eclipse? I mean, I'm hoping for the best, but at this point, who knows? They're doing a free-to-play multiplayer shooter. And I also say 5 years ago, say 2 years ago, if you'd have said to me, all right, Bungie going to make a Star Wars experience. You are going to get that trademark Bungie gameplay with Star Wars visuals and Star Wars audio designs and Star Wars blasters. I would have snapped your hand off, cracked it in two. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'd have bloody loved it. Star Wars hand cannon speaks for itself, but I mean, we're getting the bowcaster. For any Republic Commando fans out there like me, we are eating good, not just on the bowcaster, but other weapons as well. And if there's been one strength of Destiny this year, it has been the new weapon archetypes we've had with the sword-off hand cannon, the heavy crossbow, and now we're going to get heat-based weapons that are obviously the Star Wars weapons. I think that's the strength of it. When Edge of Fate came, I played it for about a week, and then I dropped it, because I was like, this just isn't for me right now in terms of the power grind and the power progression, and there just wasn't much content with Edge of Fate. And I returned maybe a week or two ago, and the truth is, regardless of the current content offerings in Destiny, what I will say is that it's still just such a great game to play in terms of the feel of it, that despite other looter shooters, and Borderlands 4 dropped this year, and I thought that was really good, but it's still just not giving me what Destiny 2 gives me. It also kind of comes back to the idea that Destiny has stagnated, and I'm absolutely here for trying new things. I understand people, they don't want to see Darth Vader cosmetics or stormtroopers. I really do. And you know what? I'm actually with you in terms of those cosmetics. I would have loved it to be inspired, as Destiny has always done, with its Mass Effect and its Assassin's Creed. And flat out seeing stormtroopers in the game, I'm just, no, not for me. But in terms of an inspired expansion, yeah, I'm into it. I'm very interested what they're going to do on a soundtrack front as well. There were many flaws of Edge of Fate, but if there was one thing that was phenomenal, I really loved the soundtrack of Edge of Fate. I thought it was brilliant. Are they going to do here Star Wars motifs, Star Wars inspired themes, or is it going to remain strictly Destiny? I'm very interested because this is the first inspired by bit of content that we've ever got from Destiny. So are they going to lean into the themes? It's going to be interesting. So yeah, I hear all the Destiny fans out there that I don't want Star Wars in my Destiny game. Fair enough, more than entitled to your own opinion. But I'm here for Destiny trying new things, and if they were to do an inspired by kind of expansion every couple of years, I think it could be a nice change of pace every now and then. I don't want anything that truly ever just moves away from Destiny as a whole, but in this era where there is no Destiny 3, I'm here for them trying new things, because the last thing you want is Destiny just to remain stagnant. And of course, they can keep improvising and innovating on the current Destiny formula. Yes, they can, of course, there's still room to do that. But I think that every now and then, there's no real harm as long as it doesn't move away from the core Destiny experience at the heart of it. As long as it never becomes a Star Wars game or an Alien game or whatever franchises they might want to do after that. as long as it's still telling a Destiny story, that's very, very important. So yeah, I hear you. It's going to piss some people off, but I just think it's going to be an extremely fun sandbox and time. In terms of player count numbers, will it save the franchise? No, I don't think it will. I think it's going to have better attention over those initial launch weeks, but I also think that's for Bungie to worry about, not us, the player. Of course, we should be concerned that nobody wants a franchise you've invested in so much to go down, or to see hundreds of people lose the job, right? None of us want to see that. But I think social media's done this thing where everyone cares a bit too much about player counts now. I love seeing player counts when I see a massive success like Arc Raiders, because I'm like, yes, brilliant for that studio, brilliant for all the players that are enjoying the game. You love to see stuff like that. But I think people that just sit there and they just monitor the player count, like, that's not for you to worry about. You should be concerned about if your game is trending in the wrong direction, because you might think, well, maybe one day I won't get to play this. Of course, but the people that sit there and monitor it day to day to day, I'm like, come on, man. Like, there's reporting on news and then they're just like lazy reporting, in my opinion, that I don't like seeing that kind of stuff. I think it creates a negative sentiment around the game that for people who supposedly want games to do well, if you're constantly reporting the negative aspects of player counts, I don't think that's good for the health of any game, because if you see a bit of news, I don't care how you feel about this, regardless of what game, I'm not even just talking about Destiny here, if you see bad news about a game's player count and you were thinking about buying that game or getting into that game, you're less likely to do so because you're going to think, well, I might waste my time. So it's a deterrent to people, in my opinion. And I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but my biggest concern going into it is the technical state of it. Regardless of weapon tiers feeling underbaked and the portal frustrations, something that without a doubt has been a real thorn for Destiny this year, and no pun intended on that one, is the technical state. Whether it's the soft locks with new activities, disconnects, weapons being added early, game-breaking bugs, the technical front has just simply not been good enough. I maintain the idea that the portal was created to sustain the current Bungie team that are on it. Bungie has shrunk in size, and therefore the scope of Destiny right now is bigger than the current Bungie team can do. So I think the portal was there as a way of managing the content and the technical state of it all, because everything else was too much with the current sandbox. And that's the reality. The QA got decimated. So whilst we can sit here and say, well, oh, the QA got decimated, that's not our problem. That's for Bungie to resolve. That is one of the times where that is not a player issue. We are valid in saying this is not good enough. We should demand more from our product in this state. Look, you're absolutely valid to be disappointed by Destiny, worried for Destiny. But at the same time, I think sometimes don't let other issues or opinions detract from your own excitement with a franchise. That's what being a fan of something is, you know? Criticize the parts that you don't like, but don't lose your enjoyment or your excitement about the things that you do. I think sometimes we can get a little bit lost with that. Destiny in its current state of content, bugs, scope, it's not great, and I've said my piece on that, but I can't wait for Renegades to drop. I really can't. You know, you just have to look over my shoulder there and see a BB unit, see the Destiny Tower, see a replica of Thorn, a couple of lightsabers and Mandalorian and Dark Troopers. I'm a big fan of both of these franchises, and I just think the idea of lightsabers and the idea of hopefully some abilities and the modifications of Cabal armor acting as ATSTs and seeing the DL-44 and the bowcaster and the sniper rifle and the submachine gun all from Star Wars, and how that's going to fit into Bungie's world-class, for me still, audio design, visuals, and then obviously just seeing Star Wars blasters in a first-person shooter again. I think it's going to be great, and I say that as both when I take both of the hats off and then put one or the other on at the right time. As a Destiny fan, I think this is going to be fun. As a Star Wars fan, it's something that's sorely needed right now in the market. I've been a hunter my entire life, so the idea of being this bounty hunter and we go into these locations that are acting like these cantinas, meeting these mysterious figures, you talk about the Lawless Frontier activity, you talk about the order system, all of this is doing the right things for me as a Star Wars fan and as a Destiny fan. And I'm really excited to see where that might go. The one thing I haven't touched upon is the dungeon. Now, we've only got a very small trailer for this one, with a little bit of dialogue, but it looks like it's going to be completely Star Wars inspired as well. That was my one kind of question was, is this going to be a Star Wars inspired dungeon, or is it going to sit on its own? And it looks like it's going towards a dungeon inspired Star Wars route with the Darksaber, which was shown off. Now, is that going... That looks like it's going to be either the dungeon exotic or something you unlock from the dungeon. That is very exciting. For me, just, again, I can't lose my excitement in this. And it kind of seems like we're going to be going... I don't know if the dungeon's like Death Star inspired, or are you going on board with what is their equivalent of a Star Destroyer? It's very difficult to make out. Someone will dissect the trailer a lot better than I have done. But I can't lose excitement from that, to the point where people that I know that are not really into Destiny, I'm like, hey, like, this could be some really cool Star Wars content that you should come and play Destiny with me, and we'll run through this. Because, yeah, these are the kind of things that... Look, the raid came out earlier this year. I haven't even run it yet. But I see this dungeon, and I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Let's go. I am excited to see the implications of this on the Destiny front, but also where the Star Wars inspirations come from with it all. And alongside all the weapon archetypes, I think the dungeon's going to be really, really good. And despite not playing the raid, I watched playthroughs of it. And that raid and dungeon team, they're on a roll. So if they can bring what they've been doing over the past, let's say, 2 to 3 years now, in to a Star Wars inspired dungeon, I mean, we might have something really cool here. We really might. There's been plenty of poor choices that have come since the Edge of Fate, but also Renegades is doing some decent things in terms of the power catch-up, in terms of the increased XP for the people who are returning, and there's some nice additions in terms of 6-player activities coming to Arena Ops, return of Sunless Cell, new solar warps, and then you got the vault space increasing, universal exotic armor ornaments. There's some decent stuff. Nothing, again, that is going to bring everybody back to Destiny, but I think this is going to be a good expansion. I really do. I am excited for it. I didn't have this excitement going into the Edge of Fate, and I know that a lot of that bias comes from being a Star Wars fan and a Destiny fan, but I do think that this might do something for the franchise, that for people who haven't touched Destiny or haven't touched it for a while, they may come back for Star Wars. They really might. If they have some really good stuff here on the story and narrative front that gives you those feels, those... And I also think that Destiny and Star Wars do have that little bit of synergy there in terms of that big sci-fi journey that we've missed a little bit in Destiny recently. We have a little bit more of it now after the Edge of Fate narrative, but that feeling of wanting to explore again, and I hope there's some mysteries left within Renegades as well for us to do that. I've kind of missed that part of Destiny, but we'll just have to wait and see. I've rambled for long enough. I'd love to now hear from you. What are you thinking about Destiny 2 Renegades? Are you going to shit on my excitement, or are you excited for Destiny 2 Renegades as well? I'd really be interested just to get a bit of a vibe check going into it. I know it's not going to be for everyone. I know some people will hate me for my opinion on this one, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose my excitement because of what other people think. That's what being a fan is all about to me. So let me know what you think going into Renegades and if you're excited for it. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, and I'll absolutely be covering Renegades when it drops next week in terms of should a Star Wars fan play it, overall review and opinion, and I'll have some nice juicy Star Wars builds. Why not? For old time's sake. But otherwise, I hope you have a terrific day. Play games, get gains, and I will catch you next week and in the next one. Goodbye.